Assassinins Creed Odyssey. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. From outcast to living legend, embark on an odyssey to uncover the secrets of your past and change the fate of ancient Greece.
I've got a lot to get through here, guys, but what I'm going to say right from the off is, by the time this review ends, you will know exactly what you're going to get if you buy Assassinins Creed Odyssey. You know, I'm not going to leave out the bad stuff in case I upset Ubisoft. You're going to get everything. So the good. Well, the graphics look great. They are pretty much asset flips from Origins, but, you know, obviously that's not a problem. I mean, if I had made Origins and I had all these buildings that would fit into an Athens world, I'd put them in as well. Why not save money? So you're going to see a few buildings that you kind of recognise from Origins. The graphics still look great though. Runs better than Origins. Definitely runs better. I'm not getting any frame drops as such. I get a couple, but nothing really bad. Sound-wise, it sounds good. The combat sounds meaty. The voiceovers generally are good, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes the accents slip a little bit and they sound a bit off. But other than that, it's enough it keeps me engrossed with the actual story, because let's go into the story. No spoilers, guys. I won't post any spoilers whatsoever. The story is very compelling. It keeps you hooked. I'm loving the story. It doesn't stray off too much. Sometimes it gets a little tiny bit tedious, but then it comes back with some really interesting twists and turns. It's a fantastic story, guys. Absolutely love the story. And you know what I'm like? That's very rare. I like a game story, but this one is really, really good. I haven't skipped any cutscenes, guys, on this. Unfortunately, the side quests and all the padding that goes with this is f***ing tedious, boring, and horrible. It's really horrible. And this is the bad bit that I'm going to talk about now. Let's get the loot crates out the way, because I've got loads of great stuff to tell you about this game. The loot crates, yeah, Ubisoft have designed... They're not loot crates, the microtransactions, my apologies. But Ubisoft have designed this game to have a massive, massive grind. It starts at about level 16, and when you hit that grind wall, what it means is you cannot continue with the main quest, simply because your gear is not good enough. It's below level and you are below level as well, so you have to wander off looking for people to kill, looking for random things to do, looking for shitty little quests, collecting bare scrotums, loads of fetch quests, mundane horrible stuff, collecting bits of iron and wood and all of this, just so you can upgrade your gear, just so that you can get your XP up, so that you can carry on with the main quest. And the main quest is so enjoyable. It's so damn frustrating that you can't do this. They've absolutely packed this full, this game, absolute full of grind. And what they've done, they've offered a solution for you, so you don't have to grind. You can go and use your wallet, your real money, to buy the materials you need to upgrade your gear and to get XP boosts. It's fucking wrong. It's awful. They've deliberately done it. Deliberately done it. Absolutely. And they're calling it a time saver. Fuck off, Ubisoft, you miserable little greedy c***s. That's what you are. I never get press copies off them anyway, because I tell the truth. They don't like me because I tell the truth. So go fuck yourself, Ubisoft. I'll still review your fucking games. I'll just buy them. So go fuck yourself. Fuck you, you greedy little spoiling fucking games. But hey, very well done on this. The rest of it, mind. You've done a fucking sterling job on the rest of it, but fuck you for being fucking greedy. And if you're a gamer, stop buying Helix points and stop fucking buying the loot in this game. Just grind it, and then they'll stop doing it. They'll stop doing it if people stop buying it. Let's get on with the good stuff. The combat, guys, absolutely fantastic. Way better than any other Assassin's Creed game. It's more fluid. You've got blocks now, you've got different abilities. It's a bit spammy at first because you only have a couple of abilities. But, you know, once you get, like, you know, well into the game, you know, you'll get more and more abilities. Every level you get a skill point to put in. A lot of the skill points unlock new abilities. There's 3 trees. There's assassination, there's like melee, and there is archery, and there's a lot of abilities in each of them trees that you can actually use, and they're really, really good and very, very well animated, and they've got weight behind it, and you feel like you're really cool when you're fighting, and you can fight 2 and 3 and 4 people at the same time if you've got decent gear and you kind of know your moves. And you've got, like, at the bottom of the screen, you've got your stamina bar, and that gets bigger as you level up through the game, and each move requires 1 bar or 2 bars. Some even require 3 bars of stamina, so you build your stamina up by hitting them with your basic spam attacks that don't require any stamina, and then as you build up these, but I don't think it's called stamina, I forget what it's called. I'm calling it stamina, who cares what it's called. But then your main attacks that you unlock with ability points, they actually use one of the little bars up. So you have to kind of manage all this while you're fighting. It's pretty easy to do once you know kind of how you're going to deal with different opponents. Some have shields, some have just huge fucking scythes. You know, there's all kinds of different enemies. Some have daggers, some are really fast, some are slow. The lions are really, really lethal. They'll just drag you off your horse, they'll dive on you. You've got these other things that hang onto your neck and choke you. There's all sorts of danger in this game, and you've got different ways of dealing with them all. Guys, I'm 32 hours into this game, and I am not one bit sick of it yet. Yes, there's some stupid things in, like for example, you can sit in a bush that's only about 2 foot high, and you're sitting there like 4 or 5 foot high, clearly visible, but you're invisible because you're in the bush. Now, I hammered one of the sniper games for that about a year or two ago, and rightly so, because it was absolutely awful with all the other stuff that's in there. But with this game, right, it kind of gets away with it because everything else is so damn good that you kind of forget about them things. If a game is sort of 80% good, 20% bad, you kind of forgive the 20%. But guys, that's only the tip of the iceberg of the good stuff in this game. You have a cult. Now, I'm not going to tell you much about the cult, other than they are bastards. You don't know who they are, they've got masks, cloaks, and you don't know who they are, but you can do things in the game to uncover who these people are by killing certain people, doing certain quests, examining certain areas, and you will find out clues about who is who in the cult. And once you've identified them, you can go and kill them. Now, they're tough to kill, they really are tough to kill, but they will always drop pretty much a legendary piece of equipment. So you can get yourself kitted out by uncovering them and killing them. There's also a fantastic bounty hunter system in this game. I love the bounty hunter system. If you start being a bastard, stealing, murdering innocents, and just generally being a prick in this, which for me is all the time, I'm a bastard. I saw a woman playing the flute that I just didn't like her, so I put an arrow in her head and nailed that to a fucking tree with it. That's the kind of guy I am. And so there's always pretty much bounties on my head. Sometimes I have had 3 bounties on my head, 3 bounty hunters tracking me down. Now, to give you an idea, these are badass people. These are really badass. When you see a bounty hunter, it's kind of like an oh shit moment. It's a problem, and I'll tell you why. I don't like X-ray vision, so I like to have X-ray vision switched off. Unfortunately, X-ray vision is directly linked to the level and health of the enemy. Now, you need to know in this game, if ever there was a game where you need to know the level of the enemy, it's this fucking game. Because if you go across somebody who's 2 or so levels above you and your gear isn't absolutely brilliant, you are going to get your arse handed to you, and you need to know in advance what's coming at you. So I've had to kind of leave that switched on, because I've died a few times by seeing a bounty hunter or somebody else and just going for him, and then he's been like 2 or 3 levels above us, and I've just been absolutely owned. So that's a bit of a shame, but the bounty hunters are tough. They're really tough to kill, but you have some fantastic fights with them. You know, you can lure them away, you can from the main action, because these bounty hunters might come at you while you're in the middle of a fort. That's happened to me so many times. You're in the middle of taking down a fort, you might be already fighting 3 or 4 people, then you just hear this horn go off, and you know there's a bounty hunter within 30 yards of you. Then he just comes in, he always has this red icon above his head, and it's so atmospheric, it's so fucking great. This the bounty hunter, they've chased you all over the place. You know, you're not safe anywhere. It doesn't matter where you go, they will come after you, and it just adds so much more excitement to the game. It's fucking great, guys. Honestly, Ubisoft, as much as I can't stand what they've done with the microtransactions, they have done a phenomenal good job with this game. Another thing that they've added to this game are these battles where they put you on a battlefield and it looks like there's hundreds of people. There's not really. It's a bit of a con. What happens is with the game, it's another good game element though that you have. You see, you have the Spartans and the Athenians, or you might have pirates and Athenians, depending on which island you go to. And the map is huge. There's the map. It's fucking vast, guys. What happens is on the islands, you will maybe have to influence which side that you're going to go for. So for example, if you've got Sparta and Athenia on an island, you will start taking out the governors of Athens. Basically, if you're going to be fighting for the Spartans, you might burn their war supplies. Now as that happens, as their influence decreases, their leaders become vulnerable to attack. Once you've took out their leaders, you can call a war, because they've been weakened enough, and there's a progress bar that shows you how far that is. Then you just go up to the little war cabinet people for Sparta and say, right, I'm ready to attack. And you will join the Spartans, if that's who you want to join, on the battlefield. And essentially what you have with the battlefield is, at the top of the screen there's a blue bar and a red bar. Blue is Athens, red is Sparta. Whichever bar gets to the bottom first loses. So you might have to kill 20 or 30 people in the time limit to actually beat that battle. So you're running around the battlefield killing people as fast as you can, glancing up at that bar and hoping that you're killing enough, because it's only influenced really by how many people you kill. The rest of the stuff's kind of nonsense that's going on, but it is a good feeling. It does feel good, and it's something that's not, you get about 8,000 XP for it as well, so it's well worth doing them. So it's another edition that's quite fun. I've done about 5 of them now, and they're really good. You get good XP and gear for it as well. Then you got the ship combat, guys. Ship combat's great. It's really good. I actually at first didn't like it as much because it didn't have cannons. It has javelins and bow and arrows. The bow and arrows are kind of, well, arrows are kind of your range, and then obviously your javelins, they're your heavy attack, they're for when you get close. But it's really fucking good. I love it. You just batter the ship down. You've got really good control of them. You just batter them down, then you can board them. You can do the, you know, the Spartan kick and just kick them overboard. It never gets old, that, guys. In fact, I do way too much of that. Then you kick the shit out of everybody, loot the boat, then it sinks. You get the loot off that as well, the ballast that comes up, and then you're back on your boat, and then you're off again. You can ram them as well. It's just so damn good. Look at the sea as well. The sea looks freaking great. There is so much good content in this, but like I said, there's that awful fucking wall of grind that hits at about level 16. I don't know what level I am now. I'm well into my 20s now with this, and the grind is bad. It is bad, but what I'm doing is I'm getting more and more gear by killing the cultists. So as I'm getting on in the game, it's not biting as hard as it did before the cultists was here. But I'm not enjoying a lot of the side quests. I'd say at least 60% of them are absolutely piss boring. But the actual main quest more than makes up for it, and the game it's one of them games where you just want to take your time. I'll be playing this for months in my spare time. I'll be streaming a lot of it as well. It's one of them games that's just really good. You know when you have a game in your gaming collection that's really good that you can go to and really enjoy playing? Well, that's what this is. This is that game. It's honestly took me totally by surprise. I was ready to annihilate this, and I was streaming it last night, and it was good last night, but it's got so much better today, and that's why I'm ready to do the actual review. So there you go, guys. If you buy this game, you now know exactly what you're gonna get. So guys, I'm gonna thumb this up despite the helix points for XP and all that. That is despicable. It's disgusting, but man, there is a great game underneath that once you get past the X-ray vision. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how can I possibly thumb something like that up? You'd have to play it to see, because it's freaking great to play.